So, would you be able to sell me those potions for less, Zenny?
What, are you crazy? Do you think Zenny grows on trees?
No, of course not.
It grows on fish, in ponds. It's a really strange form of currency.
And which pond is that exactly?
Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, we all like stuff, and especially having stuff of our own.
And in Monster Hunter, the best way to have stuff is to get stuff on your own. So today we're going to talk about all of the up-to-date best methods to get all kinds of various things in Monster Hunter Wilds after Title Update 1. We talked about this as a concept a bit before the update, but not only has the largest and most important farm method been completely changed due to the patch, but just due to the circumstances of the update, we've got at least one more farmable item worth talking about too. That said, let's start with the bad news. Nightflower Pollen farm is now pretty much dead. I won't spend too much time on this because it's not really relevant anymore, but in this title update they made it so the moon cycle is randomized when you start the game instead of set, which makes it impossible to get a consistent full moon, so it takes a ton of time and resting to go for Nightflower Pollen now, which just makes it way worse than it used to be. That combined with the fact that players have gotten stronger with equipment from the title update, which makes hunting monsters for rewards more efficient, relatively speaking, and on top of that, we now have two new 8-star ranked quest monsters, being Mizitsune and regular Zoshia, which triples the amount of monsters capable of giving the highest reward bracket. All of that to say, the best way to farm decorations is no longer gold tickets necessarily, and in fact it is seemingly now the intended manner, which is hunting monsters to get decorations from their reward boxes, and then using those decorations in wyvria and melding if you don't want to keep them in order to roll for new ones. When doing this specifically, the technical highest bracket of rewards is the 8-star quest monsters, but these will always have relic parts in their pool as well. If you want both relic parts and decorations, then these are undeniably the best, the tempered 8-stars, but for decorations it is often better to run non-tempered monsters depending on what your quest reward boxes actually roll. More specifically, an 8-star quest can roll up to 4 decorations from a singular reward box, whereas the maximum for a high tier but not tempered monster quest is 3 decorations per box, being things like regular arkveld, regular gore, the apex monsters, stuff like that. This means in a perfect world where every box was decorations and was also the maximum rolls per box, a double monster 7-star quest would be 30 decorations, a double monster 8-star quest would be 40 decorations, so the potential decorations from an 8-star quest are undeniably higher, but because tempered and Zoshia, I guess I need to specify now, have relic parts in their reward pool, it makes the reward boxes less likely to be purely decoration focused. That said, if your main goal is Artian weapon parts, then you just want to focus on 8-star tempered quests above all else because you want the relic parts. I do also want to make a note here that the monsters below that highest tier of rewards, the one that are just like one tier down, are barely any less rewarding overall. Yes, it is a little bit less efficient to farm them, but if you are someone who has just exclusively hunted like arkveld for like the last month, I really want to drive home that you can at least fight like the apex monsters without losing too much efficiency, and you'll drive yourself crazy much less if you are fighting a larger pool of monsters. That said, tempered arkveld is now only one of 3 8-star capable quest targets in the game, the others being tempered Mizitsune, which, while doing more damage than arkveld, is likely a faster kill time for most players if you're able to stick to the head consistently. Conversely, Zoshia is a longer fight for the average player, at least comparatively to the rest of the monsters in the game, and so while it has access to the highest tier of reward boxes for the decorations and relics, because the fight itself will probably take like 50% longer than any other one to do for most people at similar skill levels, the overall farm efficiency of Zoshia, for decorations and relic parts at least, is not as good as the other options. As well, I should mention that you can still get silver tickets for relics and melding through the limited bounty system, which generally you can get one of each of these each week, which is a few bonus decorations as you go, just sort of in the background as you do other things. Next up, because they are a relatively similar concept of how to farm, we've got armor spheres and orichalcite. For armor spheres, your most natural way of acquiring them is as random quest rewards at the end of the quest, and the higher tier monster, the better armor spheres, and the more armor spheres you'll get as well. The best amount of armor spheres that I've seen as quest rewards that you will get is from 8-star quests, which again are tempered arkveld, tempered Mizitsune, and regular Zoshia. These can easily give you 3 hard armor spheres on a completion, which is a relatively solid reward, but then the secondary thing that you can do is then use the smelting foundry in the oilwell basin base camp. This lets you turn monster materials into goodies. One of the categories is armor spheres, the other one is orichalcite. Regardless of which one you want, you can use the auto option within this to keep it nice and simple. This will let you select monster parts to trade in exchange for point values, and you'll get a pile of armor spheres or orichalcite dependent on the points that you stick in. Different monsters have different value ranges, and the best way to judge this is by looking at a monster's gem value. The two highest tier sets of monster parts are from Arkveld and Zoshia, whose gems go for 1,000 points each, making these two the prime monsters to farm for smelting their parts. That said, Zoshia again can take like 50% longer to fight than an Arkveld, especially a non-tempered Arkveld, because they give the same value for parts through the system whether tempered or not. But while Zoshia cannot be captured, which also makes it slower, it can actually be carved a hell of a lot more times than Arkveld can at the end of the quest, so you actually get more monster parts per hunt, and potentially more rare monster parts, including more gems. So the comparison between the two is a little bit dependent on what you prefer and what weapon you're using, stuff like that, but I'd say for most hunters you would get more out of Arkveld unless you are really quick and effective specifically against Zoshia. There are some things that can move this needle a little bit too. Past that, you also need to consider the difference in your kill times with Apex monsters compared to Arkveld. If you kill any of the Apex monsters like 20% faster than you would kill an Arkveld, then it swings to be more efficient to farm them than it is to farm Arkveld, because Apex monster parts are worth about 20% lower value than Arkveld parts. Either way, the main route here is focusing on getting as many monster parts as you can from high value monsters and then shoving them into the smelting foundry. And the best way to maximize monster parts once you've actually decided on the monster itself is with the feast meal skills, which you can now trigger manually in the Grand Hub. Kunafa meal gives bonus target rewards at the end of the quest from Lucky Meal. Azu's meal gives a chance for up to 2 bonus carves on a monster, and this also rolls separately for a tail that is severed, so if you cut a monster's tail off, you get up to 4 bonus carves total in the quest, which is extremely solid value. Then we have the Silled meal for bonus rewards when capturing a monster, and then the Suja meal, which gives you a chance at a bonus part drop when destroying a wound. Any one of these is better than none, as they all give you slightly more part farming efficiency just in varying ways. Generally speaking though, if doing something like Zoshia, or if you are just fully committed to killing and not capturing in general, I would go with the Azu's meal for the Carver meal skills and make a point of trying to cut off the tail of anything that I fight. This is especially important because carving tails gives a relatively higher chance at getting a gem drop compared to normal carving, and so getting up to 3 carves on a normal monster's tail, 4 carves on a Zoshia tail, it gives you the best shot possible at getting gems on every quest. Not to mention bonus body carves at the end of the quest too from this meal skill, and gems are by far worth the most smelting points in the system, so more gems, more value. If you are using a blunt weapon mainly, or just prefer the concept of blasting through quests faster, maybe you're someone who's just really committed to speed, and so you capture every monster that you hunt rather than fully killing them. Then of course you would want the Silled meal for the bonus rewards on capture effect. If you're someone who goes back and forth, you're not really committed either way, you do a bit of both, that's when you'd probably want the Kunafa meal, which gives you just bonus target rewards at the end of the quest. As for the Suja meal, this one is fine if you're just after parts that are specifically related to wound destroying, and some are, but this is the only feast skill that cannot result in bonus gem drops from a monster in any way, so for the sake of farming bits to shove into the smelting foundry specifically, this is the worst feast option. All that said, pretty much all of the above also applies to Orichalcite, as the best way to generate it is through the smelting foundry and trading in monster parts as well. One bonus note here though, limited bounties can give you armor spheres, and specifically the arena-based limited bounties. The first time that you get a B rank or higher for the Rathian or Chatacabra arena quest right now will give you a hard armor sphere from these bounties, and getting a B on both of these will get you a heavy armor sphere, which is extremely high value for 2 quests worth of investment. As far as how to consistently use the feast meal skills, there was a meal running free over the weekend just in general, which was useful. Otherwise you do need tickets. You can get these tickets occasionally from the daily login bonus, but you can also get a few of them in a bunch when you finish the weekly limited bounties. But there is also a way to actually manually farm these, which is the arena quests. Pick a meal vouchers are on the reward list for the arena quests, and the quickest current arena quest available is the Chatacabra. Take it on, finish the quest, get a chance at a meal voucher at the end. Simple as that. Then we've got a couple of topics left to cover. Guild points and Zenny are seemingly the same to farm as they were before the title update, but we will go over it quickly. Specifically, you want to go to the Area 8 Underground Lake Camp in the Scarlet Forest map. Run over here and pop through the dive area to find this pool of fish. Most of the spawns here will be platinum fish. Their scales are worth around 2,000 Zenny apiece, and they are worth a fair bit of guild points to catch as well. You could just manually fish for them with the fishing rod to make sure that you get the full group every time, or you can just whip out a capture net, grab the largest group of them you can, get as many as you can before they scurry away, then fast travel to the Flowering Rocks camp as well in Area 6. Walk up to this other pond of fish just forward and left from the tent, capture net some of the ones in here, and then immediately fast travel back to the Underground Lake camp at the first camp, and then repeat. All of the properly valuable fish are in the Underground Lake pond, and there's another pond in this cave as well, just a little bit closer to the tent if you want to check that too, but to reset fish spawns you do need to fast travel, and so we make use of that by just heading up to another pond beside a tent, really quickly at the same time. This will result in pretty decent Zenny rewards if you actually sell your traded materials at your box, but it also is the best method of getting guild points as well, as capturing each fish will give you some points, and because you don't need to rest in between in your tent to actually respawn fish, it makes it a very positive point farming loop as well. Finally then, we have nourishing extracts as an item, which I also like covering in these videos. These are required for mega demon drugs and mega armor skin, and they aren't farmable at the gathering NPCs, which makes them a little bit of a hotter commodity. They're harder to get, but they are very good. Generally, these come from target rewards on guardian monster quests, which means that you would only get like 1 or 2 per large monster kill normally, but these also come as target rewards on the guardian seikret small monster quest. So you can run the low rank guardian seikret optional quest, as it doesn't have lower rates than the high rank one, but you can finish it slightly faster. It takes like a minute, maybe 90 seconds at most if you do it slowly, and then you can get anywhere from 0 to 4 nourishing extracts from the base rewards of the quests, or you can use your lucky vouchers for chances at more nourishing extracts, or the kunafa meal, which I mentioned earlier, is a perfect mix for this with the lucky meal skill, as this gives you bonus target rewards at the end of a quest, which is more chances at more nourishing extracts. That just about does it for today, and everyone, the best methods of farming all of the things that are really worth farming in Monster Hunter Wilds. I hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully it helps you out. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.